X Games Oslo 2019 as they are set to kick off the Moto X Best Whip competition here for X Games Norway. Hello everyone, Jimmy Coleman here in the booth alongside Mike Mason here, and well, 7 guys of the 8 in the field out here have an X Games gold medal to their name all across the board of all Moto X events here at the X Games.
Yeah, this is a stacked event here. Best Whip's always one of my favorite events. You know, it's just the guys throwing down for 8 minutes in a jam session, then move on to the medal round.
You've got 4 of those guys who are returning gold medalists to this event in itself. You see Tyler Behrman there, Tom Parsons as well.
Yeah, these guys have been solid, you know, and it's whoever has their day, whatever the judges see is going to be the deciding factor. I mean, you've got multiple styles of whips. You're going to have Jared McNeil doing the seat bounce whip, Parsons seat bounce whip, and right there, Tyler Behrman doing a massive seat bounce whip.
Taking a look back to 3.5 weeks ago, this was just in Minneapolis, the beginning of the month. It was Tyler Behrman adding his name to that list and taking home his first ever X Games goal with that massive whip right there.
Yeah, that was so insane, using every bit of that landing, get all the way over that jump, and he deserved it.
Well, another one that we have mentioned, Edgar Torrenteras is in the field out here. He got his best whip gold medal back in 2013. Parsons has got 1 gold, and Jared McNeil, he's got 4 gold medals in this event. However, there's 8 riders in the field out here tonight, and it is a jam session, and your ranking is based on overall impression. The judges are watching this, and basically how it all unfolds is after that 8 minutes, they're going to decide, hey, the top 4 guys, they're moving on into the final, and then at that point, they're each going to get 3 more attempts, and that is how we determine our podium out here. As we take a look at the start list here, you've got Corey Creed, who's coming off of a gold medal in quarter pipe in Minneapolis. Genki Watanabe, that guy's extremely dominant in this event. He's got a really sick whip. Josh Sheehan, Edgar Torrenteras, Tom Parsons, Jared McNeil, Axel Hodges, and then your returning gold medalist from Minneapolis, Tyler Behrman. But let's talk about it. What exactly makes a best whip out here, Mike? There's a couple of different styles.
Yeah, you have a bunch of different styles. Kind of where I was going with it earlier is you have seat bounce whip, which is more of the traditional Moto style whip, and then they have turn downs, which is more of a 180. You're trying to get back and look back at that takeoff ramp. And then you'll also have turn ups, which kind of started out in the hills, riding more of the natural terrain stuff, kind of flowing with the mountainside. But these guys have transferred it to the ramps now.
So basically all boils down to style and preference, and that's the thing the judges are going to be looking for. We call this a controlled jam session here. Yes, it's time on the clock, but they do have to run in order once they get the green light from Sports and Comp. And here we go. We are underway with Corey Creed. Getting it completely sideways right here inside the Telenor Arena.
I'd say that's a great start to Best Whip. Creed getting almost all the way 180. That was the turn down style that I was just talking about. He executed that thing perfect.
This is Osaka, Japan's Genki Watanabe, making his 5th X Games appearance out here. And look at the style right there. Just kind of drops the front end, and almost the front tire is almost pointed back at the takeoff at that point.
Yeah, Wanky has such good style in Best Whip. He's a silver medalist. You know, just looks really smooth in control. His bike setup, everything's clean.
Josh Sheehan has already added another medal to his X Games hardware list. He got his best trick earlier today and just get completely sideways there on that 4-stroke.
Yeah, Sheehan's always like my sleeper pick in this. I think he gets a little overlooked with some of the other whips, but man, the guy can throw down. He's got a great seat bounce whip, a great turn down as well.
This is the elder statesman in the group at 39 years old. He's been in the ranks of freestyle moto for a long, long time, and a gold medalist in this event, as I mentioned before. Got his back in 2013. It's Edgar Torrenteras.
Yeah, ET's a solid guy. Great riding with him over the years, and it's cool to still see him out here. Here we are slow-mo and some of the whips. You can just see Sheeny using the rear suspension there, preload off the ramp. And I love Sheeny's style. It's just so smooth. It's not out of control. It doesn't look like some of the other guys are just whipping it, winging it. Sheeny's just all under control.
Taking a look at Tom Parsons right here. Parsons, he is the owner of 3 medals in this event. He's got a gold, he's got 2 silver.
Yeah, Tom coming from a heavy moto background, racing, you know, did the Supercross national scene, and you can see in his whips, it transfers perfect. He's just, you know, fully in control, great style.
X Games Norway 2019 is Mr. Parsons' 8th X Games appearance. Jared McNeil has been dominant in this event. He owns 4 gold medals in this event, 3 silvers and 3 bronze. 2 bronze.
Yeah, just letting that 2-stroke ring out. These guys use their motor a lot to get that bike back around, and when you're doing a whip like Jared right there, upside down, you got to use that motor. But make sure you land straight.
9 total medals overall in this event, just to give you an idea of that guy's dominance. But watch the skills right here. This guy has such amazing bike control. This is Axel Hodges. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the turn-up whip I was talking about, where it kind of came from free riding and out in the hills. And Axel definitely, off of a ramp, has that better than anyone. Look at that front end high. Kind of got to dive it back into the landing. And that one's hard because you're kind of fighting the laws of gravity there, where the other whip kind of flows into the jump. He's actually kind of reversing off the jump and has to get the bike back in.
Axel owns 3 medals in this event, 1 silver and 2 bronze, but this was the man that walked out with top honors in Minneapolis, Tyler Berryman from Marietta, California.
Yeah, just getting under that thing. The jam format, I think, is awesome for the first runs. You know, it kind of gives all these guys a chance to loosen up a little bit, because whips are hard. It's all about how you pop off that ramp, and sometimes if you just don't get that right pop, it messes with you a little bit. So give these guys all a couple runs here to get loose and see what happens with the final.
Well, you just see this thing just kind of develop as you run deeper into the jam session right there. Once everything starts running hot here. Now, you mentioned overall impression. Explain that. What kind of things are the judges looking for here in this jam session to try to pick their final 4 moving on?
So with overall impression, it's going to be, basically it's going to be the biggest whip, but the judges do want to see a little variety. They want to see consistency.
Not just the one. If you have you kind of mail it in the rest of the session, you one good one. They want to see some consistency in your style and your talent out there.
Exactly. You know, they've got their eye on who's doing the big whips, who's doing multiple styles of whips, but at the end it does come down to a huge whip there. Wanky almost missing the landing. That was a massive turn down.
I was gonna say, we saw that in Minneapolis where as we got deeper into the heat right there, guys started getting a little loose on the landings right there. But look at Genki's style right there. I mean, you're looking at a guy that if you don't know any better, you're like, hey, that guy's gonna do a 180.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks like he's committing for a 360, and then he still pulls the thing back around. That's what I love about whip, is all these guys have their own unique style, and you know, like I said, the judges are going to have a tough job here to really narrow it down to 4 guys.
Yeah, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. It all just boils down to style and preference, and everybody does it just a little bit different. And these guys have the task in hand here and try to figure it out when it's all said and done. As Josh Sheen goes a little deep into the landing there, these guys will have to decide who's moving on into that final round to determine our podium out here.
And you'll notice some of the guys here, you know, there's 2 different types of bikes. There's a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke. Edgar right here, he's on the 2-stroke, which I feels a little lighter, a little more easy to whip around, but the 4-stroke, like what Josh Sheehan was just on, a little more grunt off the ramp. You know, I feel like 4-strokes balance a little better in the air, so when you do get it upside down, I feel like it wants to come back a little easier. But yeah, it's just all personal preference. These guys can do what they want.
All right, here comes Mr. Parsons making his 8th X Games appearance out here in Norway. Again, he has a gold medal in this event as well as 2 silver, putting in some work here with 3 minutes left to go here in our 8-minute jam session.
I want to point out another thing too here as Jared McNeil goes, is there's been a lot of talk over the years of, you know, maybe for best whip, do we make their distances a little bit bigger? Our standard freestyle motocross setup is 75 feet distance, and you know, with these guys using the power of the 450s, and even Jared right there getting into the meat of the power on the ramp, you can see they're all kind of landing towards the bottom. So
you know, it's gone to the point where it's time to spread out the gap here. Everybody's sending a little too deep into the landing.
Yeah, I just think these guys are getting into their whips so hard and getting into that power so much that, you know, 75 feet's almost a little short these days.
So Axel changes it up there. We saw the turn-up whip from him there that first go-around, so he changes the lineup a little bit there in attempt number 2. Tyler Berryman getting under power here as we are working our way towards the 2-minute mark here in our opening jam session.
Yeah, Tyler with a great turn-up right there. Back to what you were saying with the style is, I think that's where the judges will kind of start weeding some of the guys out. You know,
just showcasing the variety that you have when it comes to this.
Yeah, and variety doesn't really affect the score, but I definitely think the judges will take note if, you know, you got a guy doing a turn up and turn down and a seat bounce, and they're all massive. So
I'm not showing you the same thing over and over and over again, just giving you a couple of different looks at it.
Yeah. Creed there getting into a good one. His feet look like they started to come off. That's when you know it's a big whip, when you start losing body parts off the bike.
All right, this is where it gets wild. Watch Genki's style right here. I love the way that this guy gets into his whips. It's just insane to see how tweaked out and contorted he gets on those things, as we are at 1.5 minutes to go as of right now. 90 seconds left here in our opening jam session.
Yeah, these guys are all riding good. The judges definitely got their work cut out for them. It's so hard now. Like, there used to be a standout guy in whip. Back in the day, it was, you know, my day it was Twitch and Todd Potter and Jared McNeil. But now it's like all these guys just how do you pick 4 out of this group right now?
Well, right now, looking at the standings, it's McNeil, Berryman, and Creed. You're 1, 2, 3 as of right now. But we're moving 4 on into the mix. You're only seeing the top 3 on that hat as of right now, but it is not over. We still have that final minute left to go here.
Yeah, it's getting down to crunch time for these guys if they want to make that top 4. Tom throwing another great whip. So smooth.
Looking at my monitor over here, I got McNeil, Berryman, Creed, and then Parsons in that 4th and final transfer spot. We'll see if anybody can change up the standings here as time is winding down here, working our way towards 30 seconds. Take another look at Jared McNeil there.
Yeah, you know Jared wants that gold back. He lost it to Tyler in Minneapolis, but he's going to be fighting for it.
Jared's actually chasing a record out here today. I'll talk about that here in just a second. Look at the style there with Axel Hodges. By the way, just coming back fresh from injury. He had a bad crash back in the beginning of July right there, practicing for a world record jump out there for the Evil Live 2 show. So good to see him back in the lineup.
Massive turn down right there. And like I said before, you can see these guys going to the bottom of that landing. These 450s have so much power now that.
So there was time still on the clock when they got back to the runner. So it looks like they're going to give everybody one more crack at it right here.
Oh. It looks like they're losing it off the ramp when they take off right there. That's twice I thought Corey was going to take off and lose control of it. But right there, you see he brings it in smooth. And man, these guys are just throwing down. You can tell they want that X Games medal.
I think that's why this is one of those fan favorites, because if you don't know anything about dirt bikes and you're watching this, you're just like, oh, that guy's about to stack himself. Oh, wait, he meant to do that. It's completely controlling. You don't know anything about this world. You're watching. You're like, what the heck did I just watch right there?
I feel like I know a lot about dirt bikes, and my hands are sweating right now. You can see him. Wanky go full 180 right there. And the guy see bouncing upside down. Look at him when he takes off. Look at how much he carves. 180 all the way back to the takeoff ramp. I don't get how they bring it straight back to the landing.
But when you see this go down and you kind of scan the audience and look at people's eyes and their reaction, they're like, what?
Yeah. Like I said, I've done this my whole life. My hands are sweating right now.
Josh Sheehan gives it one more go. I've still got standings of McNeil, Merriman, Creed, and Parsons as of right now, looking at those transfer spots. Taking another look at Josh Sheehan's outing right here. Look at that. That bike is vertical. Front tire down, back tire up.
Yeah, some whips always look so cool in slow motion. You can really see the rider working the bike, how upside down or turned around they actually are.
Barcelona, Spain's Edgar Torrenteras back under power for one more shot here, trying to make his case to try to get to that top four. Remember, he's got a gold medal in this event from back in 2013.
And let's remember, Edgar's 39 years old, and he's out here throwing that bike upside down, mixing it up with the kids. Like I said earlier, it's just cool to see him still out here. Right there, the slow-mo shot I was talking about, just see how much goes into a whip.
This weird inversion, and then he gets sideways and then brings it back around.
A lot of body English going on there to whip that bike back into shape.
With Parsons, we keep talking about his gold medal performance. He got it in 2014 back in X Games Austin.
No. Man, you just feel like something like that is bound to happen with how sideways these guys are getting these bikes. It's a lot of them are coming in front and down, and that's kind of looks like what got Tom a little bit, just a little front end down and kind of swapped him into the ground. Hate to see that.
We'll have the X Games Norway medical staff tend to Tom right there and check him out.
Yeah, you can see all the riders going over there. Now, this is you're all competing with each other, but this is a family.
It's a brotherhood, the camaraderie. When they see somebody go down, I mean, everybody's rushing over there to make sure that their friends are okay. And
man, these guys were pushing the envelope for sure. Every whip that we just saw was massive. And you know, I mean, this is dirt bikes. This is action sports. This stuff's going to happen at times. And just hope Tom's okay and walks away from this thing.
That's unfortunate, too, to see that happen, especially at the end of a heat right there. And he was actually sitting in one of those transfer spots. Due to the scoring and timing, or by virtue of the scoring and timing monitor over here, he's in that number 4 position to transfer on into that final.
Yeah, just take the proper precautions, make sure we're all good. Wish the best for Tom. That was a great whip. Too bad he couldn't have got her back to 2 wheels. Crowd showing some support. That's always awesome to see.
reports from the medical staff that he is conscious and speaking to the staff right there. Moving his arms. Got a round of applause from the fans here inside the Telenor Arena. So tough break there for Tom Parsons. We will keep you posted as we get any updates on his condition. See the ovation he gets from the fans right there.
Yeah, that's always great to see when the crowd can show support, kind of understand. That's a good thing when you're laying on that backboard. I've definitely been there before where, you know, the crowd kind of picks you back up no matter how sore or beaten up you are.
Yeah, too, you know, medical staff, they go through every precaution to make sure,
absolutely,
you know, to maintain the safety and well-being of the athlete. But I mean, you said that you've been there before. I mean, talk about like what goes through your mind at that point.
Honestly, for us, I don't know if it's an ego thing or what. Sometimes it's just embarrassment. You know, I mean, I've knocked myself silly and been on that thing and heard the crowd cheering for me, and you're just so embarrassed that you crashed on TV or you crashed in front of a stadium full of people. So it usually overrides the pain a little bit. Pain will probably settle in a little bit tomorrow, but let's just wish the best for Tom. Hope he's all good.
Yeah, we'll keep you informed of any updates on Tom's condition as we get them. But it looks like by virtue of that, they're pretty much calling it right there. They're going to line him back up and let the last three take their final hit here to determine our top four. And again, that was tough because Tom was in a number 4 spot right there. Remember, top 4 going on into that final. And then at that point, each one of those riders would get 3 more attempts to try to impress the judges there.
This is always a weird spot for the athletes remaining too. You just saw one of your good friends go down, and
it kind of, you know, takes the wind out of the sails. It kind of sucks the energy out of the whole situation. So it's hard to go see your friend do that and then have to, you know, get set back up to go do this one more time.
Yeah, it's like you'll see him get hauled off. And right here, Jared McNeil, they're telling him to go right back out. And you got to get back into that competitive mind frame and kind of erase what you just saw.
Yeah, shake it off and get right back to business right there. And Jared McNeil has done just that right there, getting the fans back into it right here. So we'll see Jared, we'll see Axel Hodges one more time, and then Tyler Merriman, and then we'll get the official tally and find out who's going on into that 4-man final. But Axel needs to put something big on the books here to try to make his case to make it into that top 4.
Yeah, he had some great whips. I mean, it's just the judges are going to, you know, pick what they think is the best, the overall impression. Axel, I'm stoked to have him back out here at X Games after missing Minneapolis with an injury.
I mean, he basically jumped the length of a football field at 110 miles an hour to see that guy back out here and riding, you know, in such a short time frame after that. Wait, good on you, Axel. Glad to see you back.
Yeah.
Tyler Merriman caps it off right there. Remember, this guy is your defending gold medalist from Minneapolis about 3.5 weeks ago.
He looks solid. All his whips are really smooth. He looked in control, and I think he's got a good chance at going back-to-back here if he can stick it together in the final if he makes it.
Well, let's talk about that record I was talking about with Jared McNeil. He is trying to be the most decorated X Games Australian athlete. We're talking medals all across the board here.
Yeah, he's racked up some medals the last couple of years. He's deserved it. He's been riding great. We'll see what happens in the finals.
So the jam session is in the books. We'll find out who makes it into the final, and then we'll hand out our gold medal when we come back to X Games Norway. Welcome back inside the Telenor Arena for X Games Norway 2019. We're in the middle of Moto X Best Whip. We just wrapped up our 8-minute elimination jam session right there, and everyone inside the building eagerly awaiting the opportunity to find out which 4 athletes are moving on into our final jam session. Once in that final jam session, they'll each get 3 more attempts at it. It's overall impression, trying to make the judges happy out here and hopefully be named a gold medalist out here. See, the fans have been filing in out here all day long. It's the first time we've ever had Moto X featured out here at X Games Norway.
I'd say the fans are getting a show for sure. These guys, I feel like the judges got this one right. I feel like this top 4 is pretty accurate. I'm stoked to see what they throw down in this final.
So looking like you got Genki Watanabe, Corey Creed, Tyler Behrman, and Jared McNeil. Your 4 lucky gents moving on into that final round here. So a time clock does not exist here as we get into this portion of things. It's just 3 attempts. They will run in that order, so it'll be Genki, Corey, Tyler, and then Jared. But you mentioned it earlier, Jared wants that gold medal back. It's on Tyler taking Minneapolis, and Jared's hungry. He's got 9 medals total in this event, 4 of them being gold. He wants back into the mix on this.
I know none of these guys like losing. That's for sure. That's why they're all out here competing for medals. But I know Jared absolutely hates losing it. You know, I've seen it in his interview where he said the more golds you start winning, the more pressure you start getting. And maybe the last
everyone's
couple events,
chasing you at that point.
Everyone's chasing you.
You got a mark on your back.
Exactly. So
he's got a 4-time mark on his back.
Maybe just a little pressure or something. But now he's lost one, and it's time to come out swinging.
It rededicates the drive right there. So 4 guys in the mix. They get 3 attempts here. Again, overall impression. It is called Best Whip. However, the judges are looking to see how you put them down here in your 3 attempts. Not looking just for one and done. They want to see your consistency out here as we bring back in Japan's Genki Watanabe.
My goodness, that is...
It's just ridiculous what he's able to do with that thing.
Look at this camera angle right there. You can actually see his back wheel pointing at the landing and having to spin it back around. These guys know they've got 3 jumps left to get a medal. They're going to start throwing it down even harder than they were in the qualification.
So Corey Creed, who's got his eyes focused on quarter pipe later on tonight, making it into the finals here at Best Whip.
I'm going to say that's got to be a little bonus for Creed. Probably thinking his chances for medal would be in quarter pipe, and
that's
finds
a good
himself
strong
in the finals
start.
now.
Oh, take a look at that graphic right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'll actually show the angle that they're getting around to, and look at the way he's working that bike. That's insane. These guys they're going for it.
Making you do some fast math right there.
I suck at math too. I just saw the numbers and just talked about the whip.
You just froze?
Yeah,
the pressure was on?
I didn't want to sound like an idiot.
Okay, so here we go. Your defending gold medalist from Minneapolis, Tyler Behrman, under power. That turn-up whip.
I like that. You know, that's probably a little strategy. He knows he has 3 jumps. It's not a jam format. No more. Looking from that angle, a turn-up's all the whips are more about the angle. It's if you get the right angle, you can really see what they were doing. And from that back angle right there, he really got a good pop off that ramp.
All right, so here comes Jared McNeil trying to break that record. He's tied right now with BMXer Vince Byron for most decorated Australian X Games athlete.
That's kind of his signature whip there, the seat bounce whip. He's got a great turn down, a great turn up, but he's known for the seat bounce. And right here, look at taking off, getting his head under that bike. Look at it right there.
That's insane from that angle.
And see what I'm saying, in real time, when you're watching it, you can't really tell maybe how much it's upside down or backwards, but man, once they slow it down, once you get that back angle, you can just really tell how much they're cranking that bike around.
It's completely inverted, but he changed the trajectory of the bike a couple of different ways on that. That back angle was absolutely perfect to give you a full overview of what's really going on in that whip. So attempt number 1 is in the books. Here we go. Back up to the top of the order for round number 2. Genki Watanabe from Osaka, Japan.
And once again, I like the strategy these guys are using. They have 3 jumps, and Genki got a good first one out of his way with this turn down. And right here, going with the more traditional seat bounce, turning the bars into it, kind of getting a little more flair with it. I think that's kind of what you got to do. If you get your whip that you want to do good on the first try, I think you kind of have to go through and get a little variety.
Looking at the scoring monitor there, he's in that number 2 spot as of right now. It's McNeil, Watanabe, and Creed. Speaking of Corey Creed, look at the performance he's putting on here in Best Whip.
Yeah, he is just going for it, man. What a great showing for him here in Best Whip. Look at how hard he carves off that ramp. Leans with his head. I mean, he's literally going for a 360 and then somehow turns it back around.
full-time stunt driver at Warner Brothers World Theme Park on the Gold Coast back in Australia. Here comes Tyler Berriman, 6 Moto X medals to his name in his history of his X Games career.
Yeah, see, he's switching it up. He went turn up to turn down, so I'm sure his next one will be the seat bounce. And see, this is the angle right there. It's like, in real time, you can't really tell what's going on. And man, right there, the carve, the turnaround backwards. These guys they're all doing an amazing job.
Jared McNeil, as of right now, currently sitting in that #1 spot. Again, overall impression of all 3 of the attempts that you get out here. See if you get that rear angle on the rear view, or on the replay again. Take a couple of different looks at it. I mean,
yeah, whip is so awesome, man. It's kind of like poetry on a motorcycle. You know, these guys are so fluid with it. Turning the bike around, turn it upside down, you name it, it's still just, you know, they're putting their own style on it, their own touch.
Looks like Jared's still in that top spot for right now. How about Corey Creed sitting in the #2 spot? You've got McNeil, Creed, and Berriman right now. You're 1, 2, 3. However, this is the 3rd and final round, so everyone's going to get one more chance to try to plead their case to the judges. G.P. Watanabe for his 3rd and final attempt. Oh, look at that, just scrubbed it in and lands in front wheel. He almost ran out of transition right there. There's no more landing left.
Yeah, he was getting close to not having any more landing. And look at this angle right here. That is ridiculous. He's all the way 180, looking all the way back to where he just took off. Somehow still manages to get that bike around.
He's almost past it at that point. He overamped that one.
Yeah. Man, these guys are ridiculous.
How? How do you make that happen?
It scares me, honestly.
But Corey Creed coming back in for the 3rd and final attempt, currently sitting in that #2 spot. It just takes it super deep. That was scary. I'm starting to get white-knuckled over here, too.
This is where it gets scary because they know it's their last jump. They've gotten a couple out of the way. They're going for it, just like Janky did. He's just carving that ramp. So these guys are so aggressive off the ramp. I think that's where the whip is really made, is obviously when you're using that power off the ramp, and these guys are not holding anything back.
But, you know, how about the day he's having? I mean, he's coming off the gold medal performance at the quarter pipe. We still have that tonight. Now he's out here, you know, made it in the finals here for best whip. Congratulations to him. Tyler Berriman, your defending gold medalist from this event in Minneapolis. What can he put down here in this 3rd and final attempt?
Yeah, going with a good seat bounce whip there. You can see how hard it. Yeah,
the 3 different styles.
Preloads into that thing, trying to get maximum pop, throwing that thing all around, landing smooth. I kind of wonder if the judges maybe will, you know, take off some points for the landings, but you got to give them credit. All these guys, even if they are going a little long, landing a little hard, they're just going for the whip.
Look at Jared McNeil, just deep in concentration right there as he gets set to line up for his 3rd and final attempt.
Yeah, and I like that strategy he did too. Got a good turn down in there the jump before and go back to what he knows, do that big seat bounce whip. Man, this is a tough one right here. Like, the back angle for me is always the best from the whip, and right there you just see how towards his body is, how sideways the bike is, upside down, and he lands smooth. Like I said, I don't know if the judges are going after that kind of stuff, but if they're trying to pick apart whose whip was better, I mean, you got to find something that kind of separates the guys.
It's just insane to watch these guys manipulate these bikes through the air like that. Just, it's so many different styles and ways.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's, you know, whip's just like everything. I mean, it evolves, but man, I remember watching Twitch and Todd Potter, like I said, back in the mid-2000s there, and you know, they were whipped for sure. Todd was always upside down, and now these guys, man, what they're doing is just, it's just crazy.
I mean, Jared was on point for all 3 of his attempts.
He was.
But again, you know, give Tyler credit for the style, showcasing 3 different styles out there.
And I'll never say Jared maybe got complacent. I know he always wanted every time he got on that bike, but he just looks like he has a little more fire today. He's just really getting into that thing, getting aggressive, and kind of bringing out that old school Jared McNeil that got him all the golds.
I mean, some days, you know, I mean, your brain just doesn't want to cooperate. You know,
yeah, and whip's
it's physical, but it's mental too.
Yeah, whip's a feel thing. All these ramps are different. You know, the ramps over here are going to be a little different than the ramps in the States, and sometimes the ramps in the States aren't you know, you're not feeling it that day. Like you said, you're just not into it.
And then you're also trying to adjust with things like jet lag because you've traveled halfway across the globe to get here. Are you riding your own equipment if you had issues with your equipment that gets out here? Because these guys have to travel with a lot of their own parts and whatnot. So are you on borrowed parts? Or are you on your stuff? Is your bike running well?
Exactly, yeah, there's a lot of variables into it, but let's get back to what the thing was, and all these guys threw down heavily, and
so there's no podium on this
one.
one. It's winner takes all. It's just a gold medal here at Moto X Best Whip. So, do you think the judges had their hands full with all four? Or do you think it just came down to 2?
I think it came down to 3, I would say. And yes, the judges did have their hands full for sure. This was a tough one to judge.
So we're about to find out who gets the big win out here. And it's going to be Jared McNeil who's going to add his 10th medal in this event. And that's going to make it 5 golds for him right there.
Yeah, what a rebound after Minneapolis and Shanghai to come back, get a gold medal. And look, I mean, you can tell he wanted it. Like I said, something was a little different with him today. He just seemed more aggressive. He wanted that thing. And
he's on a run right now with breaking records. He broke a step-up record in Minneapolis by making it 4 in a row in that event for golds. He's broken a record here today. He just now eclipsed Vince Byron for most gold among Australian athletes in X Games history. He's tied with Vince Byron at 14. Well, he was. Now he's got 15. So there you go. Jared McNeil breaking records in 2019.
Yeah, it's insane. He's been on a great run, and I think Nate Adams better start looking over his shoulder.
But, I mean, hats off to everybody else. I mean, Genki Watanabe putting out a big showing there. Tyler Berriman, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, Corey Creed. That guy's all focused, you know, on quarter pipe high air coming up later on tonight. But right now, let's check in with Jack Matrani, who's on the floor with Jared McNeil.
Jared, are you kidding me? Congratulations. I don't know if you know this, but you now are the most successful Australian. You own the most golds out of any Australian, and you just tied Travis Pastrana for most golds in Moto X. How big is this moment for you?
This is amazing. I've always wanted to be on the same level as Travis Pastrana, and here I am doing it. Pumped to be the most winning Australian, and yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks Norway, thanks Andre Villa. This X Games has been amazing.
And what was it like coming here the last 2 X Games? You weren't on top. What's it feel to be back on top?
Yeah, this feels amazing. I mean, Tyler Beerman and the boys brought the heat. I mean, that would have been so hard to judge. That I worked hard for this, and I'm stoked to be back on top.
One personal question. Can you ever go too far on the whip? Is there that moment where you're like, oh, I'm going too far?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can always go too far. That's what gets the heart racing, and that's why we're here.
That's right. Well, you got my heart racing. Congratulations, Jared.
Cheers.
Well, that is a very excited Australian right there, and rightly so. And he was hungry. He wanted this one, and now he's got it. Yet another gold medal to his name out here in the history of the X Games. Jared McNeil getting it done here. X Games Norway, Moto X Best Whip. Your thoughts, Mike, as we look at some pictures from the rollout here?
Yeah, that was a great contest. All the guys threw down. The judges had their hands full. I think they did well. That was a hard one to pick, but congratulations to Jared, man. He is just on fire these last couple of years.
Yeah, hats off to the judges. You guys had your hands full with that one. That is a tough job right there, trying to narrow it down to the final 4 and then pick the best one. But when it's all said and done, Jared McNeil walks out of here with yet another gold and breaks yet another record here in 2019. That is a wrap here from Moto X Best Whip.